Hi everyone. Okay, my name is Aatmn Parmar, and I'm going to be the host today, along with several of my team members over here. And the topic selected is spiritual solution. Why I selected this topic? Because that's what we work on. And from Tuesday, we are launching a mentorship program, and a lot of people were curious and wanted to understand what is this all about and what are we really going to do and what's the basic philosophy. Let me tell you, even if you're not doing the workshop or a mentorship program, or you're doing, either way you're going to benefit from an hour of interaction that we're going to have, or maybe 1.5 hours if the demo goes on for a little longer time. What we're going to do now is just a second, there is a little, let me disable. Yeah, okay. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to explain to you what is a spiritual solution, give you an idea how you could go about it on your own without my input or without anybody's input, and take a few steps that will expand your consciousness on a regular basis and show you some of the demonstrations. Would that be interesting enough? Okay. All right. Uh, Before I start explaining everything, I welcome all of you, and I would like some of you to come forward and just explain to me what really you thought this program is all about and what you're really looking at, so I can design my conversation accordingly. I can very well flow as per the need and expectations of my participants. So anybody who would like to come forward and just talk, you just have to unmute for a while and then speak and mute again.
Hi, Atman. Aditi this side.
Hi, Aditi.
Hi, thank you for doing this. The reason or what I'm looking out for it is how I can use the tools that you would teach
Mm-hmm.
to help myself, a lot of self work,
Yeah.
and yeah, so figure out a lot of things, general things about life, and then maybe see how I can help or mentor maybe my family members, my friends. So yeah, that's a
Yeah.
basic
Wonderful.
from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Aditi, for sharing. Anybody else who's looking for something more than or different than this? So we can have the expectations right.
Hi, I'm Ketan.
Hi, Ketan.
Yeah, good afternoon, Aatmn Parmar. I'm stuck spiritually. Means I try to do it multiple times, but I'm stuck growing spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm staying in a materialistic world more and more. So how would I break the pattern and turn myself in spiritualism? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ketan. That was really important for me to know, so I can explain to you how you can do that. Yes, anyone else?
Hi, Atman. This is
Hi, Doily.
hi.
Uh,
First of all, thank you so much for conducting such amazing sessions.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, I have reached out to many of my friends. Couple of them probably would be joining here. So what exactly my concern here is when I'm doing Soul's Love or Soul's Temple,
Mhm.
mostly Soul's Love, I go on and on. Like one emotion goes and the next emotion comes. I just want to get the clarity if I'm doing it right, so that if I'm telling somebody, I'm not going wrong.
Okay. So, Doily, just remind me to answer this question a little later, or maybe after an hour of presentation, then it would be applicable to all of us because I'll give you an example of a demo.
Sure,
Okay, Ivan.
sure,
So
sure.
please remind me to answer you this correctly. All of,
ठीक है,
I mean, many people like you might be wanting to know and having their own doubts whether they're doing it well. Yes,
ठीक है, ठीक है. Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else who would like to put the request?
Hi, this is Debalina.
Yes, Debbie.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Firstly, thank you for this session. I have seen a few of your recorded session and read a few of your blogs. They were really nice, so thank you very much for that. And the reason why I am here is one thing is because Jyotsna ma'am informed me about this, and so thank you so much, Jyotsna ma'am, for doing that.
Uh-huh.
There is in many a times in a the reason why I am on this path is because I feel stuck. I feel deadlocked in certain aspects of my
Mhm.
life. Certain aspects flow very well.
Mhm.
I achieve things very easily. The
Mhm.
others become a little difficult to achieve, and at times I don't know the reason why. I feel I'm doing everything right, being as much of a good human being as I can, and yet but
Yeah. Yeah.
victory or the
Yeah. I
deadlock
know.
doesn't end.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm hoping that I'll find some answers here.
Very few people have been able to find the answer to a question that I'm so good, I have not done anything wrong. I haven't hurt anyone. I've always helped others. And yet I suffer so much. And why? I'm not saying it's your question, but there are lots of questions in and around, and people haven't been able to figure out and find out. Yeah, maybe if possible, I'll try and give the answers today. Yeah,
Sure. Thank you.
most welcome. Yeah. Anyone else?
Hi,
Hey,
Atman.
Masum. Oh my God, it must be midnight for you in Canada.
No, it's like early morning.
Early morning. Okay, fantastic. You're an early riser.
I wake up at 4 o'clock, but for you, I woke up half an hour early
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for joining.
because
Yeah. Any request, any queries that I can keep in mind while giving presentation?
uh, I would like to know
Hmm.
why we need a person
Huh.
like you to guide us, and we just don't have it within ourselves yet.
And what if I tell you you have it within you?
I'm trying to find it, but what I'm saying is I still rely on you.
Ah, that's the fun you and me enjoy as a game. Okay.
Okay. So I'll wait till the
I
session
will
is
arm
over.
you. And nobody actually needs anyone uh, for the true awareness. Okay. Um, However, what role can a mentor play? I will tell you even that. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Yeah. Yes, anyone else? I think that's sufficient. We've got a gamut of questions and we've set the tone. There are lots of questions. Generally, I remember when I started doing this courses, somebody had asked me, are you really in problem? You know, you've got three lovely children, your family is working. Just mute everyone, please. So your family is doing very well. You know, everything is okay. You don't seem to be having problem. Why are you getting into the spiritual courses and meditations and stuff like that? So I gather there's a general feeling that you turn towards spirituality when you're stuck, when you have a problem, when you have issues, when you are in mess. And that's when you do it. So we generally judge people for doing that. However, that's not the truth. We all are entitled to, deserve to, and rather we have uh, a prerogative and as well as duties to discover spirituality. When I say spirituality, now again, the spirituality means different thing for different people. So it would be a nice idea to just quickly gather a little info about what do you think spirituality is all about. Quickly, anybody? I know some of my students are there who are going to answer slightly differently, but just a quick vote on that.
Connecting with the highest consciousness, simply and in your own customized way.
Yes, you'll have to speak a little loudly. Oh. Okay. Sheila.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Connecting with the higher consciousness
Yes.
in your own personalized and simplified way.
Fantastic. I think you answered for everyone. So I would say the connection with the highest spirit. The spirit is not the ghost spirit. The spirit is that governing factor which doesn't need to have a body but works through bodies like us. Okay. The ultimate spirit, the supreme consciousness. That is spirituality. That is for me. Now, that can happen in many, many ways. Or age-old ways where through religion, then through mantras and meditations and japas and name it, and you have several techniques to do that. Everybody claims to be better than the other, and I don't think the true masters ever said that this is the only way. They showed a way. The agents who claim to be the connectors to the supreme consciousness had their own ways of describing spirituality and had a claim over their path as authentic and the only path, and that created a lot of chaos and confusion. Though spirituality is super simplified, as Sheetal just said, it's not a big deal. Anybody is and can be spiritual. We all are spiritual for that matter. Okay. It's just that we lose this connectivity. As animals, birds, every creation is beautifully governed and guided by the highest spirit. And they are seamlessly working so beautifully in rhythm. But we humans, we have been unfortunately or fortunately gifted with supreme intellect, the logical thinking, the rational thinking, and we also have been given a free will to defy the larger will. And we often mess up. On top of it, we've been given a lot of emotions, which other uh, species do not have. You know, they have emotions, but to a limited extent and short lasting. We have those emotions and we carry the baggage of emotions which kind of cloud our being and disconnect us from the spiritual awareness or spiritual connection. So these are the reasons why probably you initially need a mentor to help you take first few steps. Beyond that, it's your journey and you can easily take it. Maybe you need somebody for several other reasons, and I will tell you, you have to figure out whether that reason is applicable to you or not. I'm not saying ours is the only way or the best way or nothing else exists apart from this, or I'm not even saying that this is an alternative to religion or it is it's kind of a carrot that you please follow. No, I'm just giving you a general guideline for your growth. If you think you can do it on your own, please go ahead and do it, because even we want you to be independent eventually, on your own, independently, and on your own by choice and not um, out of frustration. Okay, so take an aware call, take an aware decision, and discover the guru within. And that's our ultimate motto or motive. Okay. Having said that, we need to now look at some of those aspects. So what is spirituality? The aspects of spirituality. So once we all are in agreement that spirituality is about being remaining connected to the highest spirit, that is the highest consciousness, the awareness. If that is okay, then I can take a step forward and explain to you further. Any question on this? If this is not okay, then I think I'm talking to the walls. Anyone? Any doubts till now?
No, Atman, thank you.
It okay till now? Okay, fine. So, as I said, we all are connected, we are all guided. Okay. It's a different story that we choose to ignore this guidance, we choose to obliterate this connectivity, we choose to feel that I am the independent one, I am the special one, and I'm separate from the universe. And that's when the story begins. And the story ends when you realize you're one of everyone. You are a part of the whole system, and the whole system is part of you. It's a very crazy state of being when you actually feel the whole universe is in you, and you are the whole universe. Now, it's such a crazy experience. If I have to logically explain, that your body is there, your body has organs and tissues have cells have DNAs. Each DNA can manifest you again, okay, and is a miniature of you, the microcosm of you. So that microcosm, that DNA is in you, and you're also a part of that DNA. Something similar is the story. You will understand, more than understanding, you will experience when you reach there. And when you know everything is you, you rarely get upset. You rarely have expectations from the world. You will not like to blame others for what's happening. You have nothing to look forward to, and at the same time, nothing to reject. Don't say it's a boring thing. No, there is yet a lot to explore, and a lot to experience, and a lot to enjoy. In fact, that state of being is a pure bliss and joy, where everything is fine in the now. You have no worries about what happened, what will happen tomorrow, and no guilt or regret about what has happened in the past. Everything is okay, and everything is fine. Everything is accepted and embraced the way it is. And yet, there's a huge potential to make a difference in all that is, because you know you are the universe. As you shift, the universe around you shifts. The universe is your projection and extension. And you're in that awareness from the moment to moment. And this is the state of being. You must have experienced that periodically, once in a while, occasionally, where you felt so beautifully one with the entire cosmos. You know, that feeling of being elated, expanded, and you lose it once again, and then search for it once again, and you want to figure your ways out, and the search goes on. I'm going to give you a map. I'm going to give you a method how you can do it for yourself. And trust me, these are easiest and the most effective way, at least I have figured it out. My illness and my need to go beyond my body and the medical science, because I was a part of medical fraternity as a practitioner of homeopathic medicines, eventually made me explore, see several other ways and modalities, gurus, uh, different belief systems, different healing methodology. And every time I got a glimpse of them, I was excited, enamored, wanted to practice it with heart and soul. And yet I kept asking, is there something simpler? Is there something easier? Is there something more practical because the world needs it? The methods that our ancestors used, they had enough time at that time. They had luxury. Probably they would be the most ideal methods, but not so practical in the current day. I want to be with my family. I want to be with my children. I want to be with this material world. I don't want to quit. I don't want to sit and be in an ashram or Himalayas. Can I have the same experience being where I am, living in a city, living amidst the traffic and material world and chaos and daily phone calls and students and patients and clients and servants and bosses and parents and everybody in and around asking for their questions and demands, and yet can I be at peace? Can I be in that bliss? Can I maintain my sanctity? Can I maintain this connectivity irrespective of and in spite of being surrounded by seemingly chaotic conditions? I tried asking these questions to a lot of people and did not get it. And when you don't get it, it's very good. Now you have to discover it on your own. And that's what I did. I was blessed enough to get simplified techniques in my meditation. So I started discovering several simpler and simpler techniques with every passing day. I was fortunate because I already had a group of students and friends who didn't mind being subjected to. So they were the first ones on whom I experimented these techniques. And they had aha moments. And eventually I compiled all these techniques and created a curriculum, which is a radical curriculum. I started teaching in form of a workshop, and I realized that when the workshop ends, either the facilitators don't have time or the students don't have time, and the disconnection happens. Some people continue practicing what's been taught in the workshop and they do amazingly well. Some people forget about everything. Only when they see their certificates or old notes, sometimes they say, aha, I had learned something like radical. That doesn't happen to everyone, but there were chances that 10-20% of people did that. Some of them, when I met later, they said, oh, I had so many questions, but I thought you would be busy, so we did not ask. Some people didn't want to ask in public, so they kept it to themselves, wondering, how do I get these answers? And that continued. Lockdown time taught us how to teach through webinars. So we started teaching through webinars. It's amazing, it's beautiful. But again, the same limitations. I'm not saying that it's bad. Everybody has their own taste and ways of learning. So some people are so short of time that they said, please teach me in a couple of hours, and if I like, I'll see. However, what I feel is there's a lot that we can impart and contribute to our students, and there's a lot that we can monitor and assist them with. If you give them a general lateral plan, it's easier for them to groom themselves under supervision. So it's not that mentors are going to do anything, but they're going to just supervise and guide. If you're going off track, then they'll tell you, maybe doing this would be a little good idea. This would be a better idea. This would work. This hasn't worked in the past, but you can try it out. So something like that. So some general structure's been given and a little guidance is given on how to go beyond the guidance. So initially you may need a guidance. We humans are actually taught to be dependent right from the childhood. That's a system, unfortunately, because it's only human babies who do not walk after the birth. You know, rest of the babies, they know how to handle and fend for themselves, even the moment they are out in this universe. But here, the babies are so much pampered and taken care of for months and years sometimes. And I see even so-called teenagers are not grown up. You know, I see mama still feeding them and ironing their clothes and pushing them to the bathroom, and oh my god. So we love to be dependent, we love to make others feel dependent, and this interdependency has made us social animals. But there could be a better ways to do that, rather than just being dependent on a guru figure or a mentor figure or a coach all the time. Initially, because this is ingrained in us, a few of us might want to have a facility, approachability, to have somebody to talk to get the guidance and directions, because they have passed through that road. And they can tell you that, okay, when I went, there was a bump over here and there was a traffic jam over there. And, the road to the left will be faster for you to reach rather than the right, because I saw somebody taking left and that person is ahead of me now. So those kind of instructions somebody can give you who have passed through that road like you earlier, and that can make your journey much more easier. But that doesn't mean that you cannot do it if you do not have somebody to do that for you. You can very well do it. There are trials and errors, and you can do all that. I've done that. I've done several trials and errors. I've made mistakes. I've felt frustrated. I've spent years doing different things. I'm not saying that I don't have guru. Okay, so there was a gentleman when I was 15 years. There was a temple priest who had perhaps initiated, which I didn't even know that was called initiation, but now I know it. He was 120 years old, and he had given me a mantra um, to recite, though I did it only for a brief period of time because I couldn't handle the energy at that time, and I didn't understand. I didn't have anybody to look forward to or look back to explain what was happening to me after saying that mantra, and that priest was in a village. So I couldn't even connect to him, nor could I talk this about this to my parents. So I ultimately remained unmentored and left to explore the whole experimentations on my own, to understand what was happening to me, and the whole sensation, the whole experience of being, channeling, a lot of weird sensations and information that would come. And I felt myself a little abnormal, lost, not being able to connect to average people. So there was nobody to guide. And perhaps that's a reason I would love to create a system where at least there is an availability of the guide, so that people do not waste the kind of time that I perhaps wasted. I'm not sure whether I should say I wasted, but I spent a lot of time. There are, of course, pros and cons for everything. I wouldn't regret that I didn't have a mentor, but I actually wish that I had a mentor to whom I can talk it out and figure it out, find out, get an endorsement, get some sort of somebody to make sense out of all nonsense that seemingly happened in my space. I started taking a journey in birds, lots of ups and downs, and nobody to look up to. That made me more intuitive, that made me more self-reliant and more independent. And yet, there's a mother in me and a nurturer in me who always would like children to go through easier way out and not go through what I went through. Perhaps that's the reason why I chose this mentorship program. The trust, it is far easier to take these workshops and step out of the workshop venue and get back into your life and routine work. It's so easy, it's so effortless, and it's more rewarding, and you can reach out to many more people in a very short span. Mentoring takes a lot of energy, a lot of time. Actually, as a mentor, you're there with an individual for a very long time, energetically, even if you do not have a regular phone call. However, you're all energetically connected. So few people that I'm mentoring, if they're disturbed, I feel that disturbance and I call them up. I said, "Are you okay? What's happening?" Because you're energetically remaining connected to them through their journey. It's like we being their GPS without being physically present in their life all the time. But you have agreed to do that in principle. And energetically, that can be a little more demanding. And yet, I find it very, very rewarding. So, this is what we have started in a formal way. I'm sure all of us mentor others, right? Don't we guide others how to go to the station or how to take a vacation and which transport to select and which hotel to check into or which entertainment avenues to opt for or whom to meet, whom not to meet, whom to trust, whom not to trust? We keep mentoring people anyway. This is more of a formal attempt where people do not hesitate connecting to you, and this is also an energetic attempt where we become part of the energetic network. Uh, so it's easier for the resource energies and unseen forces of the universe to look after all of us when we are all connected together in an energetic way. You know, like if you have to look after a few children, it would be far easier if they are in one room. Same way, it is very easy for the higher energies to um, help us out if we remain connected, at least energetically, even as a consent that you give. And that's the reason why I chose to create a mentors network. So each one mentoring the other person and in turn getting mentored. So it's a very cozy setup. How I got this idea and why I got this idea, because I'm a product of a joint family where I had my aunt, my mother, father, grandmother, and grandfather. My sister was born 1.5 years after me. And my mother was a young mother. I was conceived when she was 17. So you can imagine how, immature she was, coming from village, she had not seen life. And very soon she was pregnant after having me, and she was busy, not keeping well. But I never felt left out or left alone because I had my aunt to fall back on, my grandma to fall back on, my grandfather to look up to. My father was super busy. He would leave house early in the morning and come back in the night with all the baggage from the office, not just for work, but many other emotional baggage also probably he would carry. So he was practically unavailable, but we were so secure because we had grandmother, grandfather, aunt to look up to, and so many relatives and friends and neighbors who would look up to. And we had that system where we could just hop into neighbor's house to check what they've cooked. And if I like something over there much more than my house food, I would barter it or do whatever, but then I'll have my favorite food on my plate. And that security made me feel so beautiful, and I grew up as a very secured individual. Same way, I have a dream of creating this kind of network where everybody feels secured, looked after, taken care of, supported, helped, and nurtured. Doesn't matter who's mentoring whom. So you have one assigned person, but you also have a network to look after each other who are mentored and who are mentoring others, and the whole system beautifully looks after itself. So that's essentially the dream. Okay, any question? I've been talking too much. So probably this will give rise to some questions, some doubts, some queries. Anyone? No?
Yes, me, of course.
Yes, Masu. Yeah. Did you get your
So,
answer?
first, initially, what I said
Huh.
is, why are we looking for a mentor?
Uh-huh.
Is what I asked you.
Yeah.
Is that all the knowledge, all what you read and all does not connect till I find somebody like I'm not saying you only, Atman.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
saying even the ones you're, like you say, you're mentoring.
Mm-hmm.
Uma for one. I should name more, but I will say Uma Sangal for one. When she talks to me, oh, not to me, but I feel she does. When she talks, I know where it comes from. So basically, my question is that we all need help and guidance, and we all need that mentor. It's not only about coming from within us. I wish it was.
Initially, yes, and yet it is, you know what? Let me tell you, you want to go to the rooftop, you need a ladder, but you
Yeah.
can only go to the rooftop the day you leave the ladder.
Okay, but at the moment, what my
Yes.
point is that it's so nice to not, we can't just climb the ladder and come to the rooftop and jump. No, that's it. So we want to go step by step.
Yes,
So,
that makes it
so
easier because these are tested ways. It has worked earlier, and we give you an opportunity to try it out. If it works,
so
100%.
the understanding, Atman,
Hmm.
has come very slowly, even for me. I have a
Yeah.
friendship with you, and it takes a lot of learning. It
Yes.
doesn't come beyond, it doesn't come in a week, or it doesn't come in 2 weeks. That's my point. So
Yes.
it takes so much to understand what somebody is trying to impart to you.
Yes. Masum, knowledge is available in abundance all over the internet and books. You can purchase knowledge.
But it doesn't make sense till you meet
Yeah.
a person from soul to
Sometimes
soul.
somebody needs to be there to tell you what is good for you and how it would work, or connect the pieces of the puzzles together for you.
Somebody, Atman.
Yeah.
It's not somebody, it's this soul thing that I think of. I think, see, I'm not trying to put you on a pedestal or anything. No. I'm just saying because I know background and because I see what is following, that till today I heard her this afternoon before I went to work. And I want to tell you this because even for her it's important. Is she did the R5 on intimacy today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hi, Masum. I'm also around.
Hmm.
Is Uma there
Yeah,
online?
yeah, yeah, I'm there. I'm there. I'm there.
Hi Uma. Hi
Hi,
Uma.
Masum. Hi.
And believe me, besides
Yeah.
shedding a few tears, I went back to work after 2 months today.
Oh,
And you
wow.
should know it. And you should know it. And
Thank
it
you.
was not even connected because it was on intimacy, but I had
Okay.
divorced and I took my cup of tea and I said,
Mm-hmm.
my God, how come? Because there was no announcement that you're coming on live, right?
Okay.
It was not announced. But suddenly I saw live and Uma, and so of course I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
So I came on and I listened to you. And normally I'm not good, as Neeta knows. I don't do much of the meditations and all this, but I did it today.
Okay.
That's the most beautiful day at work.
Wow. Thank
I
you so much.
conquered so much of my own fears, and I was put with somebody who was the most one I feared. And it worked so well today. And I must give you all both credit.
Thank you.
I now believe what you say, surrender.
Wow.
And I did it. And it worked. And I want to thank you both.
Thank you so
Okay?
much. It means so much. Thank you so much. So grateful.
Bye.
Great. So, we are all connected to the superconscious mind. Even the birds and animals are trust. They're much more connected than us. So, if there are calamities, they know how to find a safer space. They know how to bring up their baby. They know when it's time to deliver. They don't need a doctor They don't need a trainer. They just know how to build their nests, what is the right place, what is the right time, and they also know when to push the babies out of the nest. No training is given to them. And they're constantly guided, and so are we. But that guidance really is not helping the humanity at the moment, and that's why we have created so much of disharmony and chaos. And what we need to know now is how to restore this harmony and how to restore the whole balance that we've had, because we have a plan in place. We all have a super highway assigned to us, a super lane assigned to us, but we do not maintain our pace, we do not maintain our lane, and we keep getting off track all the time. The super highway assigned to us has all the provisions that we would ever need, and life can be a beautiful comfort cruise. However, we often take by lanes and service roads and then complain that there are potholes and speed breakers and disturbances and lack and unavailability of the resources. This guidance, if utilized on an ongoing basis, it would be like driving a car on a superhighway with GPS assistance. And if I have to describe spirituality in modern days, in modern context, I would say reconnecting to the supreme consciousness like GPS for guidance, solutions, answers, and direction. And it's there. We are privileged to have that. And yet, very few people have that because they've lost it somewhere. And how they've lost it, why they have lost it, and how they can regain, I've tried to make a small mind map for that. So, in the current time, keeping in mind, presuming that 80 to 90% of us are often disturbed, our mind is usually disturbed. We have gamut of emotions, plenty of thoughts at any given point in time, and very cluttered storage system, and resultant erratic emotional responses to every trigger that we go through. There's a little noise, you get disturbed. Somebody coming late, you get disturbed. Somebody interferes and you get disturbed. Somebody doesn't keep their promise, you get disturbed. Little dip in the finances, you get disturbed. Sad news, you get disturbed. Somebody is ill next door, you get disturbed. So we are the bunch of disturbed individuals and disturbed minds. Because of this disturbance, we first of all lose our connectivity. When you're disturbed, you can't even find an important object, or sometimes you can't even remember familiar names or familiar information which you're using day in and out. You tend to lose your ways on the familiar streets. So how can you find your connectivity to the Supreme Consciousness? So the very first step that you need to take is ensure that you remain emotionally neutral. Not by suppressing and repressing. There is a difference between suppressing, repressing, disregarding, de-recognizing your emotions, and recognizing them, understanding them, opening up to them, and dealing with them in a systematic way, one at a time, to understand yourself through these emotions and go beyond these emotions. So when you learn this art of remaining peaceful for better part of your life, you naturally start becoming still. So the first step is learn to have emotional neutrality as much as possible. Okay. There are techniques. One of them I'm going to teach you right away. Then there are plenty of techniques. Initially, you will remain emotionally neutral, say for a few hours, and then few days, few weeks, and then you lose it one fine day and come back again. So it's not that you're not going to get emotional, you're not going to feel any anger, frustration. You will feel, but you'll regain the equilibrium in no time. And you can still remain still, observing your emotional outburst and not getting carried away. And you can ultimately learn the art of remaining supremely connected and yet enjoying the luxury of going through your feelings and emotions like an observer, getting entertained by your own ups and downs and feelings, and being fine even with that. So, I'm not saying that you have to be like a kind of a dead person having no emotions, but having much refined emotions and not getting clouded by those emotions. You know, the emotions have different frequencies. So you do certainly have a right to. We are humans, we are here for different experiences and emotions. Go through these emotions, but do not let those emotions take over you. And there is a difference. So when you learn that fine balancing and emotional neutrality, you then go for the next step, and that is learning to remain still, not in physical body. Your physical body can be perfectly moving. You could have a lot of activities happening all around, but you are as still as the eye of the storm. Very few thoughts, minimum thoughts. You almost learn to be in the state of being, not being bothered too much about the past, not worried about what's going to happen in the future. This is the moment, being 100% present in the moment. In this space, we need to learn to ask the right questions, because it's only when you ask the right questions you will get the right answers. If you do not ask the right questions, you do not get the right answers. As simple as that, you know. All of us use Google, and yet you do not get necessarily all the information that you need unless you know which keywords to type or which question to type. The info is there. Same way, we are all entitled to the guidance, answers, solutions, and directions, but you need to learn the art of asking the right question. And after that, you need to learn the art of having the right inferences, because it's not that you're not getting answers. You're not knowing how to infer all the answers that you get, because not all those answers are in clear cut words and in the terms that you would understand or you have been trained to understand. There are a lot of such signals where you need to learn to infer. That's where mentors can help you in the beginning, because signals are there. You know, you've been prompted time and again, but we don't know really what to do with them. You know. So we learn the art of inference, and then you need to learn the art of application. How to apply this to make a difference in the material life. So the Ketan had asked, how do I become spiritual being in the material world, because I get all enmeshed? Not just Ketan, a lot of people say, oh my God, you know, this world, and it's so difficult to grow spiritually, being here with family and children and business and phone calls and emails and constant stimuli. So how do I do that? The signals are meant to ease our life in the material world and not make us escape from this material world. It's very easy to be spiritual. It's very easy to be detached, being in Himalaya somewhere or being in some ashram somewhere. The true spirituality and the test of spirituality is when you can meditate. And Mumbai locals, I'm not talking about right time, this time, there was a time when I used to travel in jam-packed locals and yet meditate. Okay. Or does it, you know, if you can remain connected to the supreme consciousness when you are in a pub, partying in the night. What's the sense of having a spirituality which is so conditional? The connectivity needs to go on under whatever circumstances you are in and whatever you're doing at that point in time. So these are the 5 steps that you need to learn either on your own or with someone's help. Once you learn these 5 steps, you're independent, you are on your own, because then the inner guru takes over. You're connected to the metaphysical world, and you're connected to the metaphysical guru, which is within you. It's you. And when you start listening to yourself, your inner calling, then you're on your own. That's what I meant by leaving the ladder and being on the terrace. So yes, there are people who do get attached to the ladder. Then I have to just give a gentle push and say, hey, now you be on your own. It's time. If you want to enjoy being on the terrace, you'll have to just step up. And you also have a choice to get back and be on the terrace, or have eventually an overview of what it is to be on a terrace, even while being on the ladder or being on the ground. That art also you can cultivate as you grow and evolve in your consciousness. It's totally possible. With technology, now you understand how it works, even without technology. I'm talking about without gadgets, you can do, a lot of people are doing, and it's quite easy to do it once you take systematic steps. Now, there's a difference between being psychic and being spiritual. So, random exploration of the metaphysical world makes you psychic, where you keep getting random signals from random sources which can disturb you further and create more interference than the real spiritual growth. A guided exploration of metaphysical world with an objective to connect to the supreme consciousness is spirituality. So not all psychics are spiritual, and not all spiritual people are necessarily psychics. And you can be selective psychic for the intent of connecting to the ultimate spirit, and that would make your life amazingly easy. Otherwise, you can get a little distracted or completely lost in this so-called spiritual journey. So this is a small little warning for all those beginners who are doing random exploration, because it begins with some of those psychic inputs which baffles them, confuses them. Some people voila, and some people get lost totally. So this is where perhaps you need a little guidance to remain on track and have your focus correct. So you make the right use of the resources they are available to you. Okay. So far so good. Any question? That's it. No question?
Hi, Aatmn here.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. It was beautifully you have explained the need of a mentor and where we can depend on ourselves. When I apply it on me, so I have realized that when somebody is telling me, I believe that, but the same thing I have got, from my higher source maybe, but I did not believe then.
Right. Huh.
So that's where the belief comes, and also the impatience.
Yes.
So this two, yeah.
I understand what you mean, right? So, any other question? Thank you, Dolly, for asking this. No? Open, just a second, I'm opening the most recent files. Okay. So now we're going to look at a radical presentation. Okay. Yeah, so before I share my screen, I would like to tell you about radical. Now, I'm not saying radical is the only way, mentorship is the only way. It's like, even my mentors were saying that how do we explain? People are all confused. Well, you go to a marketplace and there are 5 eateries over there, which is the best eatery? A South Indian one, Chinese one, an Italian one, or the roadside one, or a Gujarati thali one, or a Marwadi thali one? Which one is a better one? Anyone can tell me? No?
Maybe the one that at that very moment I want to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have your own preference, right? And people do shift from one to the other. So you've taken a workshop, now you want to try it out. What is it to be mentored, and after a few months of mentoring, you maybe want to try out what is it to take a webinar and learn further. Okay, so there's nothing like a right way or a wrong way and a good way or a worse way. um, it's a way that you get guided towards. Follow your inner calling, right? You are all monitored, you're all guided. The only thing that you need to ask while changing your preferences, am I really opting for it, or am I really escaping something? Just because you do not want to be answerable to somebody, just because you do not want to be a part of the system, and that's why you're doing something, probably what you escape from is likely to chase you. But if you are genuinely opting for something because you are genuinely guided, go ahead and do that. You always have the freedom. You don't have to necessarily cling on to one thing, but when you do it in a systematic way. So do not go to a South Indian restaurant and say, hey, can I order some Chinese food? Of course, nowadays South Indians, they give it, but say, can I have a Gujarati thali there, or can I have a Japanese sushi over here? No, that's not going to work out there. If you feel like having a Japanese sushi, go there and eat, or make it at home. It's completely your choice. Same way, there are preferences. So people who like to be mentored and grow, there are people who just want to hop into the workshop and then grow. There are some people who like to do their own studies, learn from the books, and then have their own growth. There are some people who like to um, you know um, do trial and errors of different kinds and then grow, or observe others and grow. So there are different people having different mindsets and different preferences at any given point in time. And we have tried to cater to many of them and most of them. Okay. Um, so you have a choice. So I'm going to share this.
Ma'am,
Yes.
yeah, Reena here.
Hi, Rina.
Yeah, ma'am, there is a question that there are people who wants to do it, but there is a lot of resistance is coming. So how to tell them to overcome the resistance?
So if you're coming across people who have so much of resistance,
Mm-hmm.
in advanced level, that's what we teach. Work with your own resistance, because people around you reflect you.
Okay.
Sounds crazy, but this is what we teach in advanced levels. Would you be surprised? You would be surprised. I hardly have uh, people whom I'm doing consultation for. Okay, uh, because if I see a pattern in the requests, then I look within and check, why am I attracting these people in my universe, and I correct that, and they either drop out or they become all right on their own.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
So let's just because we liked it, we can just propose it. Let them take a decision. Let them take a call. If they see you shifting, they'll observe you and they say, "Hey, let me try it out. What you're doing." You know. So let that be an example, rather than kind of in feeling of being prompted. So yeah. So here is the mind map I've created. Radical is one of such streams which helps you connect or bridge your conscious mind with the super consciousness. So we all are aware of conscious mind. We all know of the subconscious mind, and everybody's subconscious mind is connected to the superconscious mind. Most people haven't really talked about and described you may call it God, you may call it Jesus, Allah, Krishna, whatever. These are the names given. But there is something called collective consciousness, the supreme consciousness. We all are eventually connected to, who's guiding us, looking after our welfare, ensuring the harmony. And we are the extensions of that supreme consciousness. And when we remain connected, we remain the beneficiaries of all the resources available, including healing resources. So when we remain connected, we naturally continue healing on ongoing basis, and we do not have to then make an attempt to heal ourselves. So we are all connected, and we all know that we are connected. It's just that we have to unlearn a lot of things to re-establish this connection. All right. So you can learn it through the book. As far as Radical is concerned, there are a couple of books, but the available one right now is Radical Crystalline Mind. That's available on Amazon, which will give you a step-by-step way to connect to your superconscious mind. You can read, practice, try it out on your own, and if it works, amazing. Okay. Then the good old ways are workshops. So we have workshops. Come retreat series level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 one is the ultimate retreat, which is only for the chosen few. That's why it's not listed over here. Then we have a mentorship program. Before that, let me tell you, you can also learn a lot. I know a lot of people who have come over here. They've been following us on YouTube and Facebook, and through social events, online events, one-on-one sessions, therapies, guidance. You can pick up all this learning in a social setup through online or one-on-one meets or group meets. At the latest introduction is mentorship program level 1, 2, and 3. Right now we're launching level 1 from Tuesday to a larger group. We've already launched level 1 much earlier in a different setup with different group of people who will be mentoring now you for level 1. And what is level 1? Basically, it's all clearance process. Clearance as in clearing your storage system, how you store information in the subconscious mind, because your responses, the emotional responses, are storage specific. If you happen to store in a particular folder with particular tags, you have a habit of responding to that particular triggers in a particular way. So even if you get emotionally stabilized, you are very sensitive to certain triggers. So as you keep working with your triggers, you will go crazy, because you know that somebody telling you you're stupid triggers you hell of a lot, because stupidity is equal to rejection. Rejection is equal to starvation. Starvation is equal to loss of life. Now it sounds funny, but this is how the subconscious mind takes cognizance. So the word stupid triggers you unnaturally. That is because it is filed in a wrong folder. You need to just reshuffle the whole storage system. And we're going to teach you systematically so that you stop getting emotionally perturbed and disturbed, and learn to still your mind systematically in a neutral way, emotionally neutral way, and have a fairly well good observation of your emotional responses, and gradually refine the way you respond to a given stimulus. And that's the art that you need to learn, and we're going to take you through that for 2 months first. And also we'll take you through the chakra guidance. Each chakra is like a milestone. So you listen to my commentary on revival, on how our consciousness shift happens with every chakra level. So at root chakra level, you're different. At sacral, you're different. So we go through the systematic ladder of consciousness, um, and take you through that journey of step by step consciousness evolution, right from our material incompletions to pain and pleasure incompletions to system related incompletions to relationship related incompletions, and then throat chakra where you have recognition and self belief and self confidence level incompletions. At third eye level, the incompletions of implementations of your dreams, ideas, and visions, and then at crown, the incompletions related to your spiritual connectivity. So you go from one ladder at a time, like Maslow's principle, but this is much more um, well explained and much more evolved model of Maslow's. Those who have studied would understand what I'm saying. All right, so you go step by step in your consciousness journey, and this journey you may take time and again to rediscover yourself in a different way. So this is the first leg of the journey, and that is level 1. That's what we are starting with. Once in a week, now you will have a general uh, introductory lecture where I will give you the concepts, and you will closely remain in touch with your co-mentors and remain connected to them and keep answering them or keep reporting to them about your progress, because together I may not be able to um, do justice to all of you, because the batch is becoming bigger and bigger, and together I may not be able to connect to all of you directly. Of course, energetically I will remain connected. So the mentors can put forward some of the queries if that is needed, or some of the cases which they cannot solve, then maybe they might seek the guidance from me or their mentors. We have a network of mentors, so they also have their mentors to guide them. And that's how you will be eventually guided and taken care of during your journeys, because we are very sensitively working with your emotions in the level 1. There would be a possibility of some of the ups and downs, and you will need a cozy network to fall back on. We will also open up the Zoom rooms for your practice periodically, so that you all can practice. You all will be in a Telegram group, and you can continue practicing even on Telegram. Yeah. So you can connect and leave your request. If somebody is free, they will be available, or you can do it on our Each One Heal One website forum, and get together and help each other, take help from mentors, and deal with your emotions till the time you learn to remain in emotionally neutral space for a fairly good amount of time, and learn to remain still. So that's going to be the objective of level 1. Any questions so far? That's it? No question? That's little dicey. Either you understood everything or you didn't understand anything. What do I presume?
No question, but may I just say thank you very much?
Most welcome.
For
Uma? Uma, have I missed out on anything? Any input?
No, Atman. No, covered
Of the
everything.
mentors, anything that I've missed out and I need to clarify?
No, ma'am, it's very clear.
Clear? Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Level 2 and 3 is also opening up gradually after, as in when you complete level 1. You will go to level 2 if you wish to. And when you go to level 2, you might be invited to start mentoring, rather co-mentoring level 1 students. And as you co-mentor, you get the hang of it, and then you start independently mentoring. So that's what we want to prepare a team of co-mentors in a very smooth, gentle, and gradual way. Be with your mentors, co-mentor a few students and few mentees, get the confidence, start mentoring, and as you start mentoring, train few more co-mentors who can mentor others, and let's reach out to the world where everybody remains connected to the Supreme Consciousness, maintains their lane, their pace, their rhythm. So we all beautifully coexist as a family and respect everyone's individuality, boundaries, space, and enjoy the resources that we have got for ourselves, the assistance that we have got for ourselves, respecting everyone's privilege to be a co traveler on this journey called life. So I invite all of you to join. If you have any difficulties, any constraints, feel free to reach out to your mentors and let us know. I'll be happy to facilitate that, help you solve some of the difficulties if we can, or you can join subsequent batches eventually. This one, I'm doing it personally. Later, some of our mentors will be continuing to conduct. I'm doing it because I want to get a feel of it and fine tune the curriculum. And if you wish, you can easily join us. Yeah. Um, if there's no question, and if anybody needs a demo, oh, there were 2, 3 questions which I said I will
Yeah.
answer.
Yes, I was just.
Yes, totally. Yeah. Any other question? Have I missed out any question?
Do you want me to talk now, Atman, or
Yes,
after
yes,
that?
yes, yes. Now is the time to ask the question.
Okay, okay. So as beautifully you have explained about trigger. So my question was when I'm doing soul's love. So I'm just going one after the other as my emotion comes in.
Right.
When I'm getting triggered, I generally try to see why am I getting triggered, what emotion is coming onto the surface.
Right.
And sometimes I say it's coming from my childhood when probably I was 2 years old, when I'm 3 years old, and I also don't have the memory, but I could feel I have the feeling from then.
Right.
So I am doing the soul's lab accordingly, but it never ends.
Yes.
So I doubt if I'm doing it right.
So let me give you a metaphorical example. So, your life is like an apple tree. So you see one apple not very healthy. So you say, okay, fine, let me pluck that apple. Okay. So you pluck that apple, and very soon you see unhealthy apple again, and then another one, and another one. And it feels like a never ending task. There are a few leaves who are decayed now, and there are yellow leaves, and it goes on and on and on. So that's what happens at the beginning level, really, when you start.
Okay.
Slowly, you learn to ask, why is this apple there? The apple is there because there is a twig. The twig is there because there is a sub branch. Sub branch is there because there's a branch, and the branch is there because there's a trunk and roots. So, an experienced radical practitioner eventually knows how to trace the trunk, shake the trunk, and let the apples fall off if they are unhealthy so that they can become a manure and be utilized once again.
Okay. Okay.
Does it explain?
Yes, it does. It perfectly does. Thank you.
So, there is no problem, just begin. What you're doing is not wrong, but it's a beginner's journey.
Okay.
Gradually, as all my students, they say the more and more advanced level we do, we realize it's simpler and simpler and faster. Uh, you wouldn't appreciate that if you haven't done your groundwork.
Right.
Yeah, do the groundwork. No,
Yes.
even though it
Thank you.
appears to be a little tough, for a child, writing A is also a big deal.
I
And
know.
later, you're not going to write A like this ever because there's going to be a computer and a dictaphone, but you have to begin with A.
Yes.
Yeah? But that
Okay.
doesn't mean you're wrong.
Okay. That's such a relief to know. Thank you so much.
Most right. Yeah. Okay. Any other question which remain? Ketan, did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. It answers, but how do we get rid of this logical mind? Like every time something comes up, you question them logically. I mean,
Perfect.
basically, a person might be highly logical or highly spiritual, but I think I'm quite logical, and it always hampers my growth.
Yes,
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah.
yeah. In radical, we do not believe in bypassing or quietening or disregarding logical mind at all. It is only when your conscious mind, that is logical mind, works through conscious mind. Subconscious mind is pretty abstract and illogical, and superconscious mind, which is super mind, looking after and connecting all other minds. It's only when you're in total alignment with uh, conscious mind, superconscious mind. There's something called filter mind, if you know of. The conscious mind, filter mind, subconscious mind, and superconscious mind. When all minds are in total alignment, your life will work amazingly well. If you have to bypass your conscious mind and then rely on intuitive signals, you will not be able to make the best out of these intuitive signals. Got it? So you have to bridge the conscious mind with the subconscious mind and the superconscious mind and not disregard it ever.
Yeah, thanks, ma'am. It's
You're most
quite
welcome.
helpful.
Yeah, so think of integrating never either an or situation when it comes to your minds. Everything is a gift to you. You know, your conscious mind has been given for a reason. Your filter mind's been given for a reason. We reject nothing practically in radical. Make the best out of every resources because it's been gifted and carefully chosen for you. Why would you disregard? Yeah. So
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
the intuitive signals that you get from your superconscious mind has to pass through your subconscious mind because the subconscious mind picks up those signals. It has to go through the filter mind and bypass the rules. You know, we have to bridge the conscious mind and go refine the rules to allow this info to come to you, and then you have to take an action based on your conscious mind decision at a conscious level. That's when your life will work amazingly well, and that's a philosophy we believe in. It's a step-by-step process, but you can easily do that. Any other question?
Hello, can
Yes.
I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a nice explanation. I am Poonam Verma,
Hi, Poonam.
and I am quite new to your curriculum. I am doing that spiritual solution course, and before this also, I was just randomly trying to do the meditation.
Mm-hmm.
But I just whenever I do the meditation, I will just either I will sleep off if I'm doing in night. Then I thought, okay, because I am tired, that's why I'm feeling asleep. But even if I'm doing in the daytime when I am feeling energetic, what I'll do, what happens with me, I'll not fall asleep, but in between, no, for few seconds or few minutes, no, I will miss out the things. And sometimes for half a minute, for 1 minute, if I'm listening to your podcast or your meditation in the spiritual solution, I'll just sleep off. And then, I'll then again, I just don't want to miss off whatever is left off. Then I'll start the meditation once again. And then again, what I'll miss off, that I'll hear, okay, then I'll feel that, okay, I have missed out this. Then some other part, the next part I will miss out. So the same thing, no, I'll keep on repeating 10, 15 times, 2, 3 hours, and then still, no, I will not be able to get off the whole meditation, and I'll at the end, no, I feel very frustrated, that is thing happening
You
with.
want to listen to the whole thing.
Because it's like that I am not able to do the meditation and I just sleep off.
What if you're
What?
really doing meditation?
Okay.
I'll tell you that there's difference between sleep and meditation, okay?
Mhm.
So usually in my meditation, in the end, I always say move your fingers, move your toes, move your head from side to side, which almost everybody does, even if they seem to be fast asleep. Okay, so who listens to this? Okay,
Okay.
So you're constantly listening. In fact, the sleep that you're talking about is the alpha state or a beyond one.
Okay.
Yeah? So it's a beautiful state to be in. Don't resist. That's what it is meant
Okay.
to do.
Okay.
You're
Thank
listening
you.
because the end
Hmm.
part you will be awake again.
Huh. In between, I will sleep off for 1-2 minutes, then
That
again,
time
I'll
you
again.
got the max out of it. It's
Okay.
gone straight to your subconscious mind. If you want to
Okay.
listen to the words, the only way you can actually listen to the entire meditation is by listening to the meditation on one leg.
Okay. That is very
I'm
difficult.
just joking.
So
Yeah.
I should not repeat it. Means
No, it's
I'll
okay.
play over the meditation again. It's not required.
Meant to
Does
put
it?
you in a deep trance so that you get the essence of it.
Okay.
Beyond those words, there is energetic connect.
Okay.
When
Thank you.
yeah, this is the radical is a very guided process. So the techniques that I'm teaching you have come to me in my meditative space. So I've been asked to do my podcast, and I said, who's going to listen to it, and what do I talk about? They said it doesn't matter what you talk. What is important is the frequency, voice frequency.
Oh wow, that's very nice.
Yeah, so just listen to it, even if it makes no sense, it's okay.
Thank
I'll tell
you.
you something very interesting. So there was a radical is a collection of all these channeled messages, and we have a volume, big volumes of it. So one of my very senior students, he had come and did the last level of course and went back to Bangalore, and his maidservant, who was Kannada speaking, brought 2.5 year baby child, girl child, who had been brought from the hospital with 24 hours of seizure. Okay, now seizure is epileptic convulsion. And they gave sedatives, medicines. The doctor said, we can't give more than this, she will die. So they discharged the baby, and they had no means to take the treatment. And a Kannada speaking child, so my one of my associates, Mujib, he had freshly done this advanced level of course, and he had a manual. Didn't know how to work with the epilepsy and seizure and acute one. The child was in convulsion since 24 hours. For last 24 hours she was in convulsion. She said, let me take a chance, because he was so fresh from the whole thing. So he started reading from the manual. And a lot of people know that when they read advanced manual, they just doze off. Or even if somebody is reading the advanced manual, they go, the listeners, they go to sleep because the words have that energy, the energy transfer. Now the child is a Kannada speaking child, doesn't even know A of English. So this guy started reading. In flat 5 minutes, the convulsion stopped, and child slept after 24 hours.
Wow, that's very grand.
So that's the evidence of energy. So
Thank you.
I'm not transferring knowledge through my podcast. Knowledge may be a carrot, okay, but that's not the intent.
Thank you so much.
Most of the
And one
times.
thing more, no, while in meditations, I can't feel anything. Means, suppose it is like that, no, you just uh, concentrate on that part or that part or that part, or
If you can't feel, there is nothing.
your energy must be flowing in your.
No worries. Just listen to and forget
No
about
worries.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank,
Or
thank
see,
you
there are
so
several
much.
reasons. You don't feel because it's not there to be felt. Another
Mhm.
thing is there are layers of clouds. So you may take a little longer time before you start feeling, and that's also all right. Both are okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking. So there are
Ma'am,
some.
can
Hmm?
I?
Huh?
What is the difference between your workshops and your mentorship?
That's what I said. Workshop happens in a limited period of time. Uh,
Okay,
and this is an extended period of time. And we also give you homework for half an hour, 1 hour every day. So keep an hour free for yourself, minimum, if you're going through mentorship program. In
mentorship.
workshop, there is no homework, nothing. You learn it, you practice if you want to, and otherwise, it's okay.
Okay, thank
So,
you so much. I want to do the mentorship. Then
So
I'll
workshop gives you conceptual clarity. Okay, workshop gives you knowledge. Workshop also gives you a little bit of confidence and breakthrough, but you're left to practice on your own later. Here, somebody will be holding your hand and will give you only a little knowledge at a time. Work it out, learn, master. Then we give you some more knowledge, some more skills. Work it out, practice, master, and a little more. So there's never overdose.
Okay, because I follow Mamta ma'am every Sunday, and
Good.
I've also been listening to Uma ma'am. And last Sunday, Mamta ma'am told me, she said that you should join because it will make a very big difference to you.
Lovely. Thank you.
So,
Yeah, so mentorship is my recommendation personally, but you need to see your timings. So there are some people who are having extremely busy schedule. So like a lady, she said, I want to do mentorship program, but I'm working from morning 8 till night 10 o'clock. And I don't see myself getting that kind of time, you know. And so I said, yeah, I understand. Says if there is a workshop, I can take 2 days leave and join you. But for a month to expect me to do 1 hour, if I have that much time, I would sleep extra.
yeah.
So there are practical concerns, right? Or
Okay.
a mother who's, nurturing 2, 3 infants at a time, and you have
Yeah.
twins and triplets, and you're so sleep deprived. Where do you have this 1 hour of space in your? It's okay. Then for them, it's a different story altogether. Maybe take a webinar, because you can ask somebody to babysit for a day, but every day for 1 hour, you may not have that luxury.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
Anything else? We have 3 minutes more.
Ma'am, Aditi this side. It
Hi,
would be great. Hi, ma'am. So thank you for this. It made so much of sense to me to listen to you. Thank you so much. Just one question. One thing that I've come across when I worked with R5 is a lot of resistance at some point. Like you keep on going in and in, and like even when I do your meditations, right? And
yes.
then at just one point you just like let it go, or you freak out and
Yes.
you're like, no, this is too much, or I don't want
Huh.
to do it type.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Huh.
any guidance on that when we start with the mentorship, because I don't want to be stuck in the same place.
That's why you've been given a mentor who'll chase you.
Okay.
Yeah. So they
Okay.
will follow up with you. They won't trouble you so much, but at least they'll ask you what's happening. And if you just allow your mentor, then they can work on your resistance.
Okay. All
You
right, thank you so much, ma'am.
allow somebody to work on your resistance. That much you have to do. I mean, we can't go overboard and call up every half an hour, have you done your meditation? No, we won't do that, because we respect your individuality, privacy. And if you drop out, you drop out. Whatever you've gone through, fine. You can take a week off and then restart again. Only thing, you might have to join the next batch.
Understood. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm still trying to digest all the information as you said. I may have layers and layers of cloud. How does one remove it? One layer at a time, Sonia. It's a practice. Diligently, you'll have to do it for yourself. We have layers.
How does
Surprisingly, you unpeel one and another one. It's like onion peeling
that
process.
how does one do it?
Yeah, so do with whatever surfaces up at that time. So your anger has come up, you work with your anger. Frustration comes up, work with that. Sadness comes up, work with that. What's the difference between Soul's Temple and Radical? I would say it's one family. Soul's Temple, Soul's Love, Radical, everything works in the same way. When you do R5, the reshuffling and the folders happen as per the Supreme Consciousness. Soul Temple helps you align to the divine consciousness or divinity. Soul's Love assists you to align with the love frequency. But together, I would say it's all about radical consciousness. It is a consciousness and a frequency in itself. Rest are all techniques. Sorry, I need to rejoin. Audio problems, no problem. The recording will be available. Can't we have recording of this? Certainly, you'll have a recording. Just give me 3-4 days so that it's appropriately uploaded and all.
So my turn now.
Yes, Masoom.
May I request an R5 from you for all of us?
It
Focus
is
activity.
1:31, but yeah. So the meeting is officially over. I can give you an experience of R5. Anybody who has got a minor aches and pains or one emotion, then we can work
No,
with.
actually, what we want the R5 for is just to expand your philosophy. I want you to give us all an
All
R5.
right, fine. Let's do that. Thank you so much for prompting this. Okay, just close your eyes. I want you to experience this. Close your eyes, relax, and observe your thoughts or emotions. Whatever emotion or thought you get present to, say I R5 this emotion or thought, whatever comes to your mind. So, for example, you come across the thought of lunch to be cooked. So, I R5 my thought of cooking lunch. Keep saying till the time that thought goes, and you'll be present to the next thought or the next emotion. Just say I R5 this feeling. Keep saying that till the time the feelings also reduce, and you may have a vision. Just say I R5 this vision. If you have a thought of some individual, say I R5 Mr. or Mrs. or Miss so and so. R5 stands for revive, recognize, realign, reorient, and reposition. Everything is fine in the universe. We just have to revive it, recognize it, realign it, reorient it, and reposition it. Even we are fine, but we need to revive ourselves, recognize who we are. We have to realign ourselves, we have to reorient ourselves, and we have to reposition ourselves. When we have right orientation, alignment, and positioning, we are at the peak of our blissful and joyful experience of life. And that's where Radical takes you to. I'll disconnect this meeting, but I want you to be in this space for a little longer time.
Thank you, Aatmn.
Thank you, and have a great life. Bye-bye. In the comment box, I'm just leaving a Telegram link for everyone in case you want to follow the regular messages and podcasts I send, including the events. Okay, it's not going privately, it's a connect to everyone. Yeah, you can keep this on, and we will be posting the video. Thank you. Namaste. Be in this space and meditate for a little longer time.